So here we are. I've got the new governor installed in the machine, and of course it works pretty nice, but unfortunately the regulation is a little bit touchy, and the weights don't really move out as far as they did. So I did a little bit of checking here. Go ahead and turn it back off, and as you can see, I've made some more springs. Here's I actually accidentally made 4 of these, but there's 3 that look pretty matched as far as the curve on them. And so, if we look here, here's a this is the first spring I made with that spring material, and I broke the end off cutting it. Here's one of the springs that I just finished making. Here is one of the springs, wide springs from the original Governor Springs. And here is one of the narrow Governor Springs from the original set of Governor Springs. And I got out the calipers here. I just put them away and measured the springs, and I got some interesting measurements here. This was 9 thousandths. This was about 75 or 8 thousandths. These are 9 thousandths, and this one here is 11 thousandths. So the stiffer spring does not allow the weights to have as much of an effect on the way the governor operates. There's more spring tension to overcome before the weights come into play, pulling out on the governor. And I think you can see this by, even with the governor at rest, I have the pads fairly close to the disc in order to obtain 78 RPM. You see that the governor the weights do not move out very far. So I'm going to remove the governor again from the machine, and I'm going to install these springs, which I made out of the 9 thousandths thick steel. And they're a little wider. They're about the same width that these replacement springs are, but they're a little thicker too. And the width of the springs does not have as much effect on how stiff they are as the thickness of the springs do. And as you can see, these springs are narrower, and they were 9 thousandths, and these springs are wider, like this one, but these are also 9 thousandths instead of being slightly thinner. So these will be a little stiffer than these, just from width, but not as stiff as this spring is, which is thicker. Like I said, the thickness of the spring has much more of an effect on the strength of the spring than the width does.